shit about boxing.
What's going on, everybody? Another episode of Cheap Seats Box Show. Angelo here. JP will be with you shortly. This is going to be the first that we've ever done. It's going to be like HBO split site doubleheader. Me and JP can't get together this week. I can't take time out. I can do it at work, but I can't do it before or after work. Had a gigantic family emergency. So I'll leave it at that. But like we do, first things first, follow us on Twitter, Cheap Seats Box, iTunes and Stitcher, rate, review, and subscribe. Be the next unofficial sponsor. If you guys have done it, I cannot see it on iTunes right now. iTunes has not been updating the show. If you have subscribed to the show, then of course you get the brand new episode when it gets put up. But if you just search the show, it doesn't show any updated stuff. It doesn't even have our last show on there. So if you have, we will get to you when it shows up, because it does this every now and then for a week or so at a time. So if you do that, you guys will be the unofficial sponsor. You know how we do that. We take care of everybody. We appreciate anybody and everybody who listens to the show, spreads the word, all that good stuff, man. Welcome to all the listeners. Podomatic, Windows Phone, SoundCloud, Google Play, TuneIn Radio, YouTube. We barely even... I update it some days I don't. But we try to get it out as much as possible. So we appreciate everybody who's found the show. First things first, before we get into the meat and potatoes of the show, I want to give a quick shout out to, I'm going to start with the Boxed Out Podcast. Check those guys out, Mo and Miguel. Boxed Out Podcast on iTunes. I think it's everywhere. SoundCloud, all that stuff. Those guys always real supportive of the show. We appreciate those guys. So check those guys out. Another friend of the show, my buddy Vince from Tail to Tape. Him and his boy Kenny are starting a new podcast format along with Boxing Able to be doing all sports on the Sports Rant. I think sportsrant.com. If I got it wrong, it's not that hard to find. I think that's what it is. So go ahead. I think the first one comes out this week. Check those guys out. My boy Vince, his buddy Kenny, on the Sports Rant, expanding outside of not just boxing, but they will be filling in the boxing. So go ahead, give those guys a listen to if you haven't heard them. Check out Tell the Tape. I think you guys will like what you hear. So this week, I'm going to talk about two fights because of the big emergency that came up. It was not an emergency; it was more of a crisis situation that happened. So I basically watched Friday, Stevenson and Williams, and I only watched Santa Cruz and Frampton because that's all the time I had to put into it. I don't have time to go back and watch everything. It's crazy. It's crazy. Maybe down the road I will actually kind of quasi-explain what happened. But let's start right at the top. The number one fight last week was Leo Santa Cruz, Carl Frampton, meeting for Santa Cruz's belt. And start off with, I was wrong. I said it was going to be easy for Santa Cruz. I thought he would coast into a victory, which did not happen. A couple of things. I said that I thought Frampton would be stronger because he's killing himself. He was stronger. He seemed to have more on his punches than before, and a lot of that stuff can be from getting drained. Everybody made a big deal about him getting knocked down in his first fight in El Paso here in the States, and pointed to that, like, oh, see what happened. It was Alejandro Gonzalez. So, imagine what Santa Cruz is going to do to him. But that's not how it worked. That's not how it played out. This was a nip and tuck fight, close as can be. If you look at the punch stats, I know they're not the be-all, end-all because it only shows one portion of the fight. Santa Cruz outlanded Frampton 255 to 244, but we know Santa Cruz is always going to hit you with ungodly amounts of thrown punches. So his percentage was low. Frampton used movement well. He, I wouldn't say controlled distance because he got hit 255 times. I would have to go back. It's probably the most punches he's ever been hit with in his career. So I would say he managed distance better than Santa Cruz. Now, for me, I'm one of the few people who actually scored the fight for Leo Santa Cruz. I scored it 7-5. I actually gave Santa Cruz the 10th round, which only one judge gave him the 12th. Gave him the 12th round, and that was actually the judge who scored it the widest, 117-111. He had it actually going into that round, 9-2 going into the final round. Now, anybody who tells you that this was clearly one side or clearly the other, they're not really telling the whole truth, because this was a close fight. If you look at the punches landed per round, I think Santa Cruz outlanded Frampton in 6 rounds. Frampton outlanded Santa Cruz in 5 rounds, and in 1 round they actually landed the same amount of punches. So this was a very close fight. I don't think anybody landed more than 6 more punches in a round than the other. So this was a really, really close fight. I think a lot of people got caught up on the fact that Frampton did better than what they thought he was going to do going into this fight, which honestly, most people, if you listen to most of these shows, actually had Santa Cruz winning easily. They thought he was going to win easily. So, sometimes that can influence the way you see a fight. Also, the way that people see fights, some people like power more, some people like movement more. It just depends on what people like. Me, I just like what, at that time, what I see, who is controlling what fight, it has nothing to do with like or dislike or boxers or punchers, because I had Erislandy Lara outpointing Canelo. So when I get a guy who's got movement, I don't necessarily take points away. If I think he's winning that round, landing the more punches and the more effective punches, then I give him that round. And I thought Frampton did a great job of that early on, winning probably 4 of the first 5, at least 4 of the first 6 rounds. But I thought in the middle to the end of that fight, I thought Santa Cruz actually started to establish himself more. And even at the 12th round, this was the one time in the whole fight that I actually saw Frampton holding on and tying up, was in the 12th round. You could see that for whatever reason, it seemed like that was even though they landed, I think it was 1 punch difference in that 12th round. I'd have to go back and check again, but I think it was like 1 punch difference. That was a really close round, but for me, the fact that I finally saw some of that activity wearing on Frampton made me think, Santa Cruz is actually controlling the pace of this round. He's being the general in the ring there. He's actually has now Frampton tying up. Before, there wasn't very many tie-ups at all. But all credit due to Frampton. If you think Frampton won, I have no argument with you. If you think it was a draw, same thing. If you think Santa Cruz won, if you scored Santa Cruz to win, because even watching from afar, this seemed more of a draw fight. Just watching it from a distance, it seemed like more of something that was like right down the middle. 8-4 for Frampton. I don't get it. Like I said, I think people start judging momentum. They think that one fighter has more of the momentum than the other because they perceived it that the fight was going to be one way, and then it ended up being the exact opposite of what they saw. So what happens is I think people start to get that in their head. So if they continue to see a similar outcome each round of something like that, and they continue to score it that way, and it takes something big for them to sway that momentum and to score it for the other fighter. And I think that's kind of what started to happen. Not saying that there's no way I think Frampton won this fight, because like I said, it's right there 50-50, really, really close. So just a really good fight. I think it was everything that we thought it would be. Leo Santa Cruz rarely in unentertaining fights. I guess when you throw 1,000 punches, it's hard to be boring, right? I mean, if nothing else, if things seem repetitive, it doesn't necessarily mean it's not entertaining. But great fight from both of them. Frampton definitely came out the better. Win or loss, he would have came out better, because I think he he just exceeded everybody's expectations. So how do you not come out of this fight saying, well, once he gets even more comfortable at 126, he's going to be even more of a problem for everybody at 126? And the fact that he did get the win, it just puts a exclamation mark on that. And the sky's the limit for him. He's got options. He's got Lee Selby in the UK. Possible unification. He's got the Santa Cruz rematch possible. He's got a possible rematch with Scott Quigg. Guillermo Rigondeaux's even there. Could he go on the other side? Could he fight plane overhead? Can hear it loud as can be. Actually sounds like a helicopter. But could he get a fight with Oscar Valdez down the road? Maybe even on the PBC side, Gary Russell Jr. is always a possibility. The sky's the limit for Carl Frampton. I knew he was great. I sold him short going into this fight. That'll be the last time I do that, obviously, because I was the one pushing for him. I thought he was definitely a possible problem for Guillermo Rigondeaux as far back as 3 years ago. So, there's all kinds of possibilities. Hopefully, he can capitalize this, not just back in Ireland, but here as well, because he created a lot of new fans. I think that goes without saying that he actually did that. Leo Santa Cruz, back to the drawing board a little bit. Can he get the rematch? He really wants one. Hopefully, he can get that. Is he going to fight a Cuellar? Maybe he's going to get a Selby fight. Maybe he's going to have to go through Gary Russell Jr. There's a lot of things out there for him. But hats off to him. It was not a mandatory fight. This was an optional. You got to give both these guys credit. Santa Cruz not taking the easy road, which it seems like he had done after getting the title at 122. Seemed like he'd taken it easy. Even the fight against Mares, Mares wasn't the same Mares. He could have fought him at a different time when he was more viable, but it still ended up being a great fight. I think it was a great learning experience. And I can't wait to see these guys' next fight. Hopefully, we don't hear that famous phrase, which we heard in the Mikey Garcia. I guarantee you I didn't see it. Like I said, I didn't watch these fights. In the Mikey Garcia fight, both of these guys coming off the longest layoff of their career, which is such a typical opening statement for a PBC fight. So hopefully we won't be hearing that from both of these guys on their next fight. Hopefully they both capitalize on it, get right back on the horse, go right back on it, capitalize on it for Frampton, and get back on the rebuilding stage for Santa Cruz. But Santa Cruz really doesn't fall off too much because this is really such a close fight. And you have some people who thought, including me, that I scored it for him. Doesn't necessarily think he got the better of the fight. I just thought that you score rounds individually. I thought he'd close strong, but he didn't get the nod, and I don't have an issue with it. He said, if he gets that rematch, he's got to fight it in Ireland. Blame Al Heyman that you didn't have it on your home turf, because there was all kinds of Irish people in there. You're in New York. They love the Puerto Rican fighters. They have a big Irish contingency. You should have had this in L.A. That's on you for accepting that fight. That's on your man Al Heyman for making that fight at that location. I'm sure he gets some kind of money for a site fee, but he did you wrong. But that's on you and your team for accepting that. That comes, I guess, the price of fame, like they say. You give up some of your when you go for fame, you give up some of your privacy. Well, when you go for them big checks, you give up some of your say-so and where you're going to fight. So that's on you guys. That's on your team. Stevenson, Adonis Stevenson, Thomas Williams, Friday night. I saw that one live. Actually, I forgot it was on. Recorded. It picked up right at the last round of the fight before that, so I didn't see any of that. I got to see the main event, which was the big one I wanted to see. Stevenson, Williams, fun fight. Stevenson knocks him down in the first. Williams comes back in the second, starts putting on Stevenson a little bit. Stevenson takes back control in the third round. Some really bad punches, really bad form, really bad hooks from Williams. He's a limited fighter, but a fun fighter. He went for it. All respect due. He got knocked out in the fourth round by a humongous left hook. But what a fun 4 rounds that was, and thank God it was only 4. Because We got entertained. We didn't get it. It wasn't drawn out. Hats off to him. Hopefully, Stevenson can get the balls to take the challenge of actually fighting and wanting to fight the winner of Kovalev and Ward. These guys have exclusive contracts with HBO and you don't, Stevenson. So when you say the fight cannot be on HBO, you are saying I don't want this fight, that it can't be made. You have to understand, you know more than anybody that they have an exclusive contract with HBO, just like you did when you fought on there. But you don't have one with the PBC. You can fight on the different networks. That's why you're on Spike. That's why you've been on Showtime. That's why you've been on CBS. This is why you can go all over the place, because you don't have an exclusive contract. So if you truly do want those fights, you know, if the money's not the issue and only the network, I don't understand why a network would be such a big thing, if you don't have the contract. If you have the contract with them, like, shit, this is what I can do. We can make the fight. I'll take the 50-50, whatever. But, you know, it has to be on this network. That's just how it goes. Hopefully he gets the backbone to make this fight. We can finally put an end to the conversation. And maybe we can have a truly unified champion. The first one in a long time. You know, if they can keep these belts together, the winner of Ward and Kovalev to fight Stevenson, you have a unified champion. It'd be the first in any division. I don't even know how long. I'd have to look that up. But it was a fun fight, so good, so fun that they, in all respect to Williams, man, he put on the line. He said, "To hell with it, I'm gonna knock his ass out, or I'm gonna get knocked out." Well, he got knocked the fuck out. That's how it goes sometimes. But when you lay it on the line, people respect it, and people want to see the next Thomas Williams fight, and you can't blame them when they give you entertainment like this. Stevenson, he's a fun fighter. He's flawed, but has a giant eraser, and anytime you have those two combinations, it makes for a fun fight. It's Jorge Linares, all the skill in the world, but shit, if you hit him one time, it may be over with. But this weekend, we know Ward, Brand, the last hurdle in between Ward, Kovalev. Let's hope he gets through this fight unscathed, no injuries, because that's the only thing that can stop this next fight. So let's get through the Brand fight. We know what it is. Brand's nobody. People say he's the ugliest technician ever. So it may not be the most aesthetically pleasing thing. Ward's going to win. It's a matter of how. And let's just come out unscathed so we can get on to the next big one. There really, what else can you say other than that about that fight? That's all that fight was made to be. I just wish that HBO would have gave us Postal and Crawford on HBO rather than Chilemba, Kovalev, and Ward and Brand, you know, because a lot of you guys got hosed. Now, me, you know, I streamed it. You guys got hosed on that pay-per-view, but, you know, hey, I tried to warn you guys. I wasn't paying for this shit, and it wasn't worth it. I ended up being right on that part. I just wish HBO could have did that for us. I'd have been able to find any. Who knows if we'd been able to find stream for this. I don't know if there'd been the interest in it. But like I said, let's get through this, get on to the next one, because that's a huge fight in November. That'll really put a stamp on one of those guys as putting their planting their flag on the top of the hill for pound for pound. One last thing, like I said, follow the guys at the Boxed Out Podcast. Those are my dudes. Those guys always support the show, retweeting the show, pushing the show. So you know I return the love. That's what we do here. This is the show of love. You show us love, we will show you love. That's how we do it. There's no other way around it. Check out the Boxed Out Podcast. Now, like I said, check out my boy Vince, his boy Kenny. I say that respectfully because I don't talk to Kenny. I talk to Vince. Good dudes. Good boxing show, Teletape. Checked out their new one, Sports Rant Radio, sportsrantradio.com. They're going to have all the sports covered, plus boxing. So if you like what they do, and I know a lot of you guys have heard them on Teletape, I'm sure you guys are going to like what they do on Sports Rant Radio. I cannot wait to hear it. So check out Vince, check out Kenny on that. Support them, support us, support all the boxing podcasts. Baby, it's one big family. All love. Now, second part of the doubleheader is up. JP's going to take over from here. He's going to tell you what he thought about Santa Cruz and Frampton. He's going to talk about Stevenson, Williams, Brand, and Ward, and all the good stuff in boxing. JP, take it away, baby.
All right, good people. We had to split it up. I ain't gonna lie, work kicking our ass. But I'm gonna take it and just do my part right here. And some of it's gonna agree, some of it's gonna disagree. So let's just go ahead with it. First, we're gonna start with Adonis Stevenson and Thomas Williams. You know, y'all already know I'm really not feeling Adonis Stevenson. I'm just not feeling him. All that ducking has got on my last nerves for a very long time. But in this particular fight, TKO in 4. Okay, he knocked him out. That's true. But I got to respect his God-given power. He does have that. He does have power. But he got hit a few times. So it's not like I said, man, because of the way he's taking on his competition, he's diminishing, to me at least. Because the minute he has to rise to the occasion, I think he's not going to be able to rise to that challenge because he's been swimming in mediocrity to hold his title. So, was the knockout impressive? Yeah, I think it would be more impressive if I was actually feeling him as a fighter, but since I'm not so impressive. I know that sounds biased. I am biased. That's what it is. Until he actually fights somebody, I'm really not feeling him. I'm just not. We're gonna move up to Jojo Diaz with a second round KO. Hey, you know how I feel about Jojo Diaz. He the dude. He my dude. And I want him to keep winning. This streak of showing more power is gonna definitely put people, bring people to attention, because that was a part of his game that people figured maybe not there, but I like it. I really do like it because the confidence that goes with it is gonna mean that he's gonna be hell on wheels for whoever shows up. Flip over to the UK a little bit. Not too much because I just want to say that Dillian White won in a unanimous decision. I just want him to keep winning. Honestly, that's why I bring him up, because I want him to keep winning because their heavyweight division, with him improving, it makes it interesting. And that's where I like it. Luke Campbell won in a unanimous decision. I want him to keep winning a little bit too, just to make it interesting in that weight division. Because, everywhere from, I say, 22 to 47, there's good competition there. So you need fighters who actually are going to at least have good records or good reputations or building a reputation to keep it moving. Now we're gonna get to the card of the cards. I'm going from the bottom up. And first is Amanda Serrano with the first round KO. You got to bring a female fighter in this one, If you like knockouts, you like knockouts, I just got to give her some love for that. WBO female world featherweight title, What you want me to say? Congratulations. If I'm going to congratulate the guys that's going to do it, I'm going to congratulate the women that's going to do it. So hats off, congratulations. Impressive, because a first round knockout is always good business. It's always good business. Exciting. I'm sure they're going to want her back. One of the other fighters I had talked about was Tevin Farmer. And as you can see, if you watched it, he held on wheels. Hard to handle. Slick, I think he's going to go back down to 30 after this, but, he was impressive. He was impressive. And don't think that Ivan is over, because he's not over. But I kid y'all not, you in the future you'll see how good Tevin Farmer is. I know the power ain't really there, but he does have skills, undeniable skills, and he learned from his early mistakes and his losses. I like his style. I like his ability. I like his counterpunching skills. I like how he can he can actually control the ring, you know. And to be a southpaw, that just it's gonna give some people some issues. It really is. So much respect. Congratulations on the win. If he goes back down to 30, you know, since he's on this road, it's time to step up the competition again. You know, build on this because to be, you know, and once he builds on this, it's going to be interesting the higher up he goes because that division it has some bangers in it. Paulie Malignaggi, the Magic Man won. I mean, he outclassed him. Well, I mean, out-experienced him. I say that. And he's even talking about he thinks he can fight for a title maybe at 40 if I am mistaken. And I can see him trying to do that. And I can't knock him for that. You know, like I said before, you know, the older fighters don't necessarily have to get out the game because these younger fighters ain't kicking their ass out. They're not making it hard for them and saying, no, I need to put this shit down and let these young guns do it. They're not. They keep opening the door. And fighters like Paulie with the skill set, just the tenacity and a mental capacity to get wins off of experience, he's going to be in that mix until you kick his ass out. So, you know, is he rejuvenated? We'll see when the competition gets stiffer, but he's in the mix. I mean, he's always going to be a big name, whether you like it or not. You know, am I always impressed with Paulie? Not always, but, you know, he's had his ups and downs in the last 4 or 5 years. So I got to give him credit because, you know, a fighter will pick him because of his name, and a championship fighter will pick him because of his name. And if they don't walk through him, they could lose the title, and he could be a 3-time champion. That's just the reality of the way it's working out at this particular point in boxing. So there's really nothing, you know, you could say about that. Do I like it? Not necessarily. No, I don't. But that's what it is. But like I said, congratulations. Tony Harrison now Tony Harrison was the guy that lost the fight to, I want to say Willie Nelson. I always fuck up his name. I always do that. But from Detroit, definitely starting to see what other people were seeing in him. He looks in better shape than he did before too. I guess I don't know what that. Maybe that loss made him touch up his strength and conditioning, but he looks in good. He really looks in good shape, and he's wanting to be exciting. Which sometimes exciting could be detrimental, but I think in his case, it's going to work out for him if he continues to stay in good shape, you know. So he does have to touch up a few things in his game, but young fighter. The knockout was good. You know, his being in shape was good. But he gotta, I think I touched on that before, like, but it's not, I always want people like that to work on their defensive skills. Like I said, like earlier, Farmer has good defensive skills, whether people believe it or not, you know. But these younger fighters like Harrison, they're attack dogs, but they're not tactical. You know, so when he touches up his tactics, I think he'd be a force to be reckoned with. That's what I'm trying to say. Now before that, I mean, now the two most important fights of that night. First was Mikey Garcia coming back, 2.5-year layoff. Looked damn good. for a 2.5 year layoff. But he fought a fighter with like a 2.5 year layoff. So um, it, it it was more impressive because of his punch selection. He's always been a studious fighter, smart fighter, who's able to get you with the right shot at the right time. And when you take a layoff like that, you assume that a person's going to have that kind of ring rust. But he has been working in the gym for a while. Because I've been seeing him online just in the background, sparring, stuff like that. So he's been in the gym. He's not one of those guys who just took some time off and didn't do anything. He just was, he had to get the business part right, which I feel like he got the short end of the stick on that. So that's one of the reasons why I really didn't talk too much about him. I don't think we did as much because, he got shafted in business. So I can't really get mad at that. It sucked as a fan to watch because they took 2.5 good fucking years that he could have made. He could have really dominated some shit. But I think he's gonna be back with a vengeance. So I can't wait to see what he does in the division because let's be real. Depends on where he want to go. He's gonna pretty much be near that top dog status. So everybody from 35, maybe 40, depends on how he want to do it because he was 38 and a half, 39, something like that. Depends on where he want to go or what he's comfortable with. He's gonna pretty much be fighting at the king of the hill, and I don't think people want them kind of problems. I'm just gonna be honest. I don't think I think he might need maybe 1-2 more fights. Because if we're gonna give everybody else these kind of touch-ups, we should give him the 1-2 more shots to actually sharpen up the way he was before he had the layoff, so he could do this. Because everybody else is getting this shit, so I think it's only fair. Do I really want it? No, but I'm just saying it to be fair. But it was impressive. Punch selection, power, shape. I like Mikey Garcia. I think I'm gonna be a fan of his for a long time. That's just real talk. Now the fight, the shock of the night. Didn't see that shit coming. No, I didn't. Was Frampton and Santa Cruz. As we all know by now, if you don't know, Frampton won. It was a draw on one card. He won by 4, and on another, won by 6 on another. Damn. The volume was still there. I think Frampton was just stronger. Frampton started to kind of make the volume look obsolete because he was like walking through shit. Didn't expect, he was willing to take shots because Frampton got hit. Let's be honest. Frampton got hit. But he made it look like, I'm gonna keep coming. And because of that, I could see in perception it nullified everything. And plus, like I said, he was a stronger guy. He has that stocky build. I figured he was going, I figured the game plan was like, regular stick and move. Keep the matador type thing. Keep him coming. But real talk, he hit the world with a curveball on that. And it was a great fucking fight. Would I like to see a rematch? Hell yeah. I know Santa Cruz wants one, and I think Frampton will take the rematch because if I'm not mistaken, in the post fight he was talking about how Rigo doesn't generate enough publicity or money to actually take him seriously. But Santa Cruz does generate that kind of publicity and money, and I think because the fight was exciting as hell. And for those people who feel like, the judging was kind of messed up, I mean, I can see what you're talking about as far as a draw is concerned, if you wanted it to be a draw. But I think Frampton won the fight. And I think, a draw is the only thing you could really ask for from the perspective of even being a fan of Santa Cruz, because I'm a fan of them too. A draw is what you can ask for, but you can't necessarily just say, oh, he won the fight, because that's not the case. I mean, close, but I think what I think is the way that Frampton fought the fight, it took away Santa Cruz's people's perception of Santa Cruz, the volume and always coming to get you. I think he, more so than attacking the fight, he attacked that, because the perception of, oh, he gonna wear you down eventually. The shit didn't happen. So he actually controlled the fight, even as an exciting fight, And to be perfectly honest, man, I'm not even gonna lie, man. I did not see that shit coming. I really didn't. I mean, I felt like skill wise, yeah, Frampton has the better skill set, but I just, like I said before, I felt like Santa Cruz is more active outside, is more active mid range, is more active inside. But fuck my logic, that shit didn't mean nothing that night. I was dead wrong. I apologize. Congratulations to Carl Frampton and all of his team and supporters. Well, we all know this weekend was coming up, which, I mean, how can I say this? We know it's popping, but because tonight, Danny Green is in Australia, but that's not what we care about. I'm just gonna be honest with you. So there's some fights in Philadelphia on Friday. I might check those out. But the true main event is Ward Brand. Now, I think people are going to tune into the fight because it's a tune-up fight for Kovalev, and since we wanted to see what Kovalev was on and where he was at, you're going to watch this fight to see where Ward is at, so you can see, the compare and contrast and who has the advantages or disadvantages in this upcoming fight that they're going to have. Brand is just supposed to be a competitive opponent, and Ward's a winner. But I'm sure that Brand ain't coming to lose either, but let's be honest, he probably going to get his ass whooped. So that's what it is. The baby bull Juan Diaz is fighting in Arizona. And as long as he keeps coming with it, somebody's going to have to take that fight with him. Got to represent H-Town, so, we got to do that. So, big up to Baby Bull. Hope you beat not somebody. Beat Cesar Vasquez's his ass. And keep your name in the mix. Sorry about messing up your name. I was talking too fast. And ironically, there's a card in Mexico City. I don't know about that. Dante Jordan against I don't know if I'm gonna watch that. I don't know. Because all I'm really concerned about really at this particular point is the Ward fight. And the Kovalev, connection. Oh, snap. Alejandro Luna is fighting Stephen Orman. I will watch the fights in Philadelphia. I'm going to check that out. Now, before I get out of here, one other thing that we got to address is this. The Olympics are upcoming, and Rio is about to happen. There's going to be a lot of boxing going on. And I think the young lady, T-Rex, is who, America's holding their hat on. Now, the funny part about that is this. Congratulations to her, for one. I hope the best for her. I hope she wins. I hope she makes history. But, ironically, you don't hear too much about men's boxing in the Olympics. So, has the Olympic system fallen that far of creating great boxers, or are boxers just skipping from the amateurs to the pros because they want to get paid? I mean, a gold medal in the Olympics used to mean you had bargaining power. Now, people seem like not so much. I think Ward was a gold medalist. And this is the crazy part about it. When we look at our current state of boxing, a lot of the top boxers in the world came from some kind of Olympic system. So I don't understand why people aren't still doing it. And or maybe we're not just or maybe it's just not being promoted as well. But at the end of the day, if we don't have a farm system for boxing, there's an Olympic farm system for boxing that has good talent, American boxing may have some issues in the future. Because think about it. Lomachenko, medalist. Rigo, medalist. I want to say Triple G is medalist, if I ain't mistaken. We already know Klitschko was. Amir Khan, yeah. Canelo and my main man, Angulo, I know they were on the Mexican Olympic team, but I don't think they were medalists, but they were in that mix. Of course, Pacquiao, no. Floyd, yes. Broner actually was supposed to be on the team. He got in trouble. Rashid Warren was on the team. Who else? Deontay Wilder. Maybe Anthony Joshua too, if I ain't mistaken. So what I'm getting at is this, and I said Andre Ward in the beginning, and I know Andre Berto was definitely on the team. Going to the Olympics can give you more bargaining power business-wise, or making that transition. But, everybody doesn't have to go that route. People like Salido, people like Bernard Hopkins, it's a few. I don't know if I forget. I think Shannon Briggs did do it though. But there are a good many fighters who didn't do that. So I don't think Paulie did it. I might be mistaken, but I don't think Paulie did it. So at the end of the day, I guess everybody's got to get in where they fit in. I'm gonna stop it right here, because we're gonna get back on it in our regular schedule, the way we do it. But I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Work beating the shit out of us right now, so we trying to fit it in the best way we can. So we still thank y'all for all of your support. You know, if I said something wrong, say, hey man, you out of pocket right there. Let me know. Get at us. Rate, review. And this is where the fighters fight and the fans commentate. So, and we do it just like that from the cheap seats. Because we ain't buying no tickets, goddammit. Peace.